Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. I'm so excited. This has taken years to get to this point, but here goes. We got ourselves the new Cristalle Eau de Toilette by Chanel. This is the old packaging. This is the new one. So I'm just like already telling you, you see there's a difference in size there. They're both 100 ml, but we're gonna be unboxing it, sniffing it, reviewing it in this video, and of course comparing it to what we had before. Are they going to be the same? Is the new one better? Is it worse than what we had before? What gives? We're going to find it all out together right here, right now, in this, the ultimate Chanel Cristalle Eau de Toilette review video. All right, first subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Push the notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video. You can also follow me on Patreon, superdacob, all spelled together there for extra perks. Thank you to my patrons who have already pledged. This video is being filmed live in front of a live virtual audience. I live stream several times a week on my main superdacob YouTube channel, so go check me out over there. Subscribe over there as well and get access to all of these special previews as well. So I have my co-chatters on the sidebar. I'm reading your comments as well as we go along. I'm reading the chats, but also you guys be sure to thumb up the video and to leave your thoughts and comments down below as well. The historical moment. Finally, we're going to get to unbox this baby. We're going to smell it, test it. I got both my wrists here bare, no jewelry on, no other perfume on my wrists. So we're going to be spraying the new Cristalle here, and we're going to be spraying the older formula here, and then we're going to be sniffing them, comparing them, and all that good stuff. But first, let's get to the unboxing. Thing I noticed, I just got this at the Chanel Beauty Boutique. I was so excited. They finally received it, and I was just so, I did not want to order this. I wanted to go into the boutique and purchase it and make it a special occasion. And what do you know? The batch code. So first, how do you know that you got yourself a new one, not an old bottle? As you can see, when you flip them to the back, because you might not have the old packaging to compare, because they do look kind of the same from the outside. And that subtle size difference in box is almost imperceptible at first glance. So you might think you got the old one or the new one. You don't know. Well, this is how you know. When you flip them in the back, the new ones have this extra recycling note at the bottom. And here at the address, they also have the London address, not just the Paris address. So that kind of helps you out. However, the last batches of the old package might have also had this, so be careful. But what I was shocked about is, officially launched on the 1st of November. However, 2023, 1st of November 2023, the Eau de Toilette launched, right? And that would be, when we talk batch codes, it would be in the 0 range, because they just did the 9XXX, 4-digit 9XXX batch codes, and now they kind of are already, some of their products are already with a 000, After they reach 9, they start from 0 all over again. So I was expecting this to be a 9 or a 0. I was very surprised to see that this batch code is an 8. I don't know how much you can see down there because it's not printed. It's just kind of etched in there. Really hard to, no, you don't really see it with this lighting. But down there, it's giving me 8801. Now, what does that mean? Well, this means that Chanel, sneaky, has been manufacturing these for over a year now. This batch was produced around 2022, 2021/2022. So they have been making these babies in the new bottles. They have been stocking up on them a long time already. Because this batch code was not made yesterday. This is almost 2 years old. Let that sink in. This is how Chanel was playing with us. Okay, but I digress. So here I also have the old bottle as we have seen it and learned to love it for many, many years. This is not the first bottle that was released in the 70s, but it's close enough because it changed at a certain point in time. I don't have the 70s Eau de Toilette bottle here with me, but this is kind of what we were kind of used to at a certain point in time, you know, in the 90s, in the 2000s, 2010s. This is the last iteration of Cristalle Eau de Toilette with the sprayer. I'm not going to spray this one first. We're going to first open this one and spray this one first. So here goes. It's still sealed. We're going to break the seal. Historic moment. You know how much I love this perfume. And go check out all my other videos that have led up to this moment, the final moment. This is my favorite iteration of Cristalle. Just FYI, I do love the Eau de Parfum and I love Eau Verte. But this is where it's at, baby. And in the back, the first thing I checked, the ingredient list, it still lists oak moss and tree moss in the ingredients, just like its old school counterpart. So that's a good sign. I never take the foliage completely off. I just lift it a little bit like this to open, and then I protect the cardboard because I don't want this Chanel Gorgeous White to turn like all yellow with time. Oh my gosh, there it is, you guys! This is so exciting. By the way, I'm not sponsored by Chanel. I bought this myself. Yay! We did it, Joe! Okay, so nothing inside. There's no leaflet. There's no like special information. It's just their standard cardboard kind of vibes. I'm surprised that, you know, Chanel wants to go sustainable and they want to do no plastics. I'm surprised that they still do plastic foliage around their perfume bottles because they wanted to stop doing that. But let's see what they're going to do with that. So you see now I have my plastic all around my bottle, and that's how I like to keep my package. I never throw away a Chanel package, nothing. I never throw anything from Chanel. So here goes. This is the bottle next to the old bottle. There's a difference. There's a big, big difference. The new Cristalle Eau de Toilette bottle is reminiscent of the current Chanel No. 5 Eau de Toilette 100 ml spray bottle. Chanel No. 5 does come also in a 50 ml. This bottle also comes in a smaller size for Chanel No. 5 Eau de Toilette. But Cristalle is only offered to us in a 100 ml bottle. They're both 100 mils. Look at that illusion. Look how Chanel manages to make it look bigger. Like it looks like this bottle has more liquid than this bottle does, even though they're both 100 ml. It is smaller at the bottom. This glass is a bit thicker though. Now the juice does appear a little bit more yellow here than here, but that can, well, not necessarily. Now, the difference between this bottle and the Chanel No. 5 Eau de Toilette bottle is that the Chanel No. 5 Eau de Toilette bottle, the 100 ml, has a magnet lid. Let's see if this one has it as well. Nope, no magnet. This one comes with a click lid. Chanel upped the price, but they gave us kind of the cheaper lids. They did not want to give us the magnet lid that they gave Chanel No. 5 Eau de Toilette. However, it's cold to the touch, so the outer part of this lid is metal, lacquered in black. Inside, we have plastic, however. So the interior is plastic and the exterior is lacquered metal, which is the first time that we get black lacquered metal silver top for Cristalle, because this used to be full on plastic. See, it's kind of this molded shape plastic, very easy, cheap to produce. Even the top here is plastic. Now, the new version feels very cold to the touch. So this might be metal, could be plastic. The silver part feels cold like metal. The sides are definitely metal, lacquered metal. Okay, but now I would have liked a magnet stopper, but hey, whatever. The issue that we had in the past, let me just point this out. This sprayer is a little bit too low into this plastic. Yeah, this is also plastic, by the way. So every time you would spray, a little bit of perfume residue would remain up here. You would have to clean it up all the time. Really annoying. I hope that they solved that issue with this new sprayer. Let's test it out. So excited. Here goes. We'll go, we'll go. Fingers crossed this thing smells good. Thumb up the live stream. I mean, thumb up the video if you're enjoying it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on. Let me immediately spray this one so we don't have a big difference in terms of how this one is drying down. Let me spray the old one as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 and 5. We did the same spritz on both. It's different. And this is the first time I'm smelling it, so, you know, apologies for the silence in between, but it's a historic moment for me, so I'm just going to take my time with this. You can fast forward the video if you're like, why is he silent? This is crazy. It's perfume. You got to give it time. Huh. Yeah. It's more citrusy now. Less ashtray, and this is, I love my ashtray notes in Cristalle. It's so fascinating because the ingredient list on both packages is exactly the same. It's exactly the same. The oak moss, the tree moss is in it. The order in which they position the ingredients is exactly the same on both. Yes, Chizza says the ashtray was deep and dry down. Yeah, but you get that ashtray right from the start in the OG. First impressions, it's a little bit flat. So one of these little tricks that I do, you usually should do this in the dry down of the perfume, but sometimes if you want to kind of speed up the process, you can do it already towards the opening. You kind of exhale warm air. Obviously, whenever you exhale, it's warm air out of your body. You exhale warm air on the spot where you put the perfume just to kind of blast open the molecules of the perfume, and you kind of get hints of the dry down before the dry down hits. So that's what I'm doing right now. You heat up that part of your skin where you got the perfume, and then you inhale right after you've heated it up, and it blasts. So let's not forget one thing. This is a brand new bottle. We've just opened it together. We need to give it some time to oxidize, get that oxygen in. We need it to breathe a couple of months before it, can kind of settle into its own self. You know, it's gonna mature nicely, that's for sure. This one has been open for a while now, you know what I mean? But still, I know my Cristalle. I know how a fresh batch smells. These bottles, when they were fresh, they did not smell like this one when this one is fresh. You see what I mean? So I'm also comparing from my memory how this perfume smells when it's brand new, open for the first time. And oh, Jesus, you read somewhere that Chanel allegedly had to reformulate them again because of latest IFRA regulations. Well, I've been talking to a couple of people that work for different perfume houses that also work in marketing and in production, and they said that most of these big companies, so IFRA sends them regulations. They send them like, this is going to happen. You're going to have to implement this 3 years from now. So a lot of these companies, they already switch everything and make it up to standard already years in advance, before the regulations even hit. So technically, if IFRA were to implement a regulation that has to like be active from, I don't know, November 2023, then usually big companies like Chanel have already started implementing that change like 2-3 years prior. So just bear that in mind, you guys. Everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. Jesus says, yeah, the ingredient list may be the same, but from different sources. That is very, very true. That can be the case. Now, you know, just from my first impressions, you guys, and this is really my first impressions, I want to say it's giving update formula. The new one is giving me updated formula for 2023, you know, for the 20s. It's more succinct. It's more kind of tight. Less ashy. It has a little bit less character. Well, it's the times we live in. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying the ingredients in here don't smell good. It smells good. It smells good. It just doesn't have that same dryness to it. This one is a little bit more wet. It's more wet. It's more humid. Yeah, not wet. I want to say more humid. It's more damp. It's giving me more dampness, while the predecessor had a dryness to it, had that beautiful duality. It's like it's like a crystalline, it's floral, but it's also dry. A chypre, you know, a chypre. And now it's giving me, there you go. Jesus says it's like the testers say floral fresh and not fresh chypre anymore. Yeah, it lost a bit of its chypre character. I think that's what it is. It's more acidy now. There's that citrusy accord that's a little bit more acidic. It's maintaining its, because this one, the OG, the citrus is gone already. Now we're like already heading into that beautiful, creamy, floral, ashy accord. Divine. And here it's wet, humid, moist, and zesty, citrusy. Still. It's still on that level. While here we've already abandoned that stage and we're going more into what that beautiful 70s dreamy chypre, Coco Chanel, chain smoker, you know, ashtray accord, which you can check out my review of Cristalle Eau de Toilette, the OG, where I say that, Henri Robert, who's the perfumer behind this one, it's kind of like a testament to Coco Chanel. After she passed away, the perfume was released. And it's really also his last perfume for Chanel, right? And it's such a beautiful poem dedicated to her. It portrays her. Like, this perfume is so magical, not just because it's beautiful, but also because if you have studied the biography of Coco Chanel, the true biography, and listen, I have over 100 books in my library on Chanel. I'm not talking about those few rats in the bunker that tried to claim that she was a collaborator of the Germans and all that stuff. All rumors that have been debunked. Check out my video on the top 5 books to read about Coco Chanel to find out how all of those rumors, yes, rumors and allegations have been debunked. So put that aside for a second. Bear that in mind. And let's go back to admiring that woman for the revolutionary, visionary in terms of artistry, fashion, and design that she was. Henri Robert really delivered a beautiful poem, an homage to Coco Chanel's life, in particular her last years. She was bitter and lonely at times and chain smoker till the bitter end. And so this perfume mimics that. This perfume tells a tale of that character trait of Coco Chanel. So it's so beautiful, and that's why I always say it needs to be preserved, because this is not just a perfume. It's literally a document that enshrines an entire era of life of this incredible woman. And so when we smell the OG Cristalle, we really get to experience her in her last years. Now that's something really magical and important. It's like changing the formula to this perfume would be like rewriting a historical book and canceling out entire chapters, burning entire chapters, not making them available anymore to future generations to come. That's why preserving Cristalle is so important, in my humble opinion, okay? So when you mess with it too much, or even subtly, you keep tweaking it every decade, a new tweak, every decade, a new tweak. Sooner or later, you have tweaked it so much, even though every new tweak was subtle, almost imperceptible, after 20, 30 tweaks, it becomes perceptible. And that's what I was worried about. Super excited for the new bottle. I do love this new design. I mean, let's kind of put them side by side. Sure. I mean, this is more kind of close to, fingerprint magnet. Let me just clean it off. Sure, this is our OG, kind of how we remember it, even though the first one was in a flat bottle. But doesn't matter. This is the one that we remember since several decades. And this is, since a couple of years, Chanel No. 5's bottle, minus the magnet. But this is more historic, nostalgic. This is more what I love. I do prefer this bottle to this, even though now, as we sprayed it on, there is no residue here. There is no perfume residue. So this one does not, this one sprays properly. The lid is substantial because it's also metal. It's heavy enough. It feels good in the hand. This one feels a little bit better though. It's a bit thicker. The girth matters, okay? Just FYI. It's nice. It's lovely. I'll keep buying it. I'll always keep buying it. Chanel does great reformulations. They always maintain quality and substance. You know what I mean? This perfume is not by any means, it doesn't smell cheaper than before. It doesn't. It doesn't smell cheaper, but it smells less sheeper. You see what I did there? It smells less sheepra. It does not smell cheaper. So I don't feel like Chanel has duped us, like they have now tricked us. Now they're saving even more money, but they're upping their price even more. Haha, you suckers, you're going to spend even more money now for something that doesn't smell the same. I don't feel like they did that. I do I still smell the quality in here, and I smell quality in here. It's fresher. It's fresher. It's not dry anymore. There's the ashtray. And it's not as intense. I mean, blasphemous. But hear me out on this one. You know how Chanel just launched? I know, this is sad, but they just launched Chance Eau Fraîche Eau de Parfum. And now they're relaunching this and the Eau de Parfum and Eau Verte. For my first impression, Cristalle is now kind of edging into Chance territory. I know, not the best. Like, it almost feels like a Chance flanker. If we also bear in mind the direction in which Eau Fraîche is going. So this is more like not Chance, not Eau Tendre. It has nothing to do with Eau Tendre. Also nothing to do with Eau Vive. This is more Eau Fraîche. Chance Eau Fraîche kind of vibe. More elegant than Eau Fraîche. Like light years more elegant, for sure. But a little bit flanker. A little bit, it's giving me flanker. You know what I mean? It's more citrusy. Smidge of powder. Just there's a smidge of kind of, there's a powderiness coming out of this now. Okay, as it's kind of slowly drying down, I'm getting sweeter accords. So fast. They are, listen, how to put this? You know me, I mean, since decades, a lover of Chanel perfumes, okay? If you could say there's a sommelier for wine, my nose is very Chanel. Very Chanel. I don't want to say I'm a sommelier for Chanel perfumes, but I can tell you, I know my Chanel perfumes. Period. So when I tell you they're light years apart, that doesn't mean to a trained Chanel nose, they're light years apart. But if you haven't smelled Cristalle for decades, and just now for the first time you're comparing the two, you might not notice the jump. But I can tell you this. This one gives me that beautiful dry oak moss ashtray in the dry down. Here, it's like a powdery floral sweet dry down. Like there's nothing sweet in Cristalle Eau de Toilette, okay, in the OG, nothing. It goes slightly powdery at a certain point, ashtray dry powdery. While the new one stays humid, a little bit moist, and goes sweeter. And I'm starting to get that ashy accord as well, but it is not as strong as here. And I understand why they would do that. Like, this is way more wearable for today's standards. This is, like, they've updated it. Like, they have given Cristalle a new outfit. You know, they have dressed it up for 2023. They have made it more office friendly, you know? They've made it more, yeah, it's more friendly. It's more user friendly. Less character. Damn. Oh, I was so hopeful. Yeah, no, this is the one, y'all. Listen, I'm gonna be testing this baby out, you know. I mean, maybe it needs more oxygen. Maybe it just needs some time to settle in. Maybe I need to wear it on different occasions. For sure, I have to wear it outdoors, indoors, different temperature settings, different moods. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna have to definitely give it more time to really assess the situation of how this thing really works. Because, like, honestly, right now, the way it smells to me, it's easy to wear. So you gotta hand it to Chanel. They have kind of reinvented Cristalle in a way that now you can kind of grab this one more often. It's fresher, it's simpler, it's easier, it's friendlier in a way. But Coco Chanel was not necessarily the friendliest person. She was bitter, especially towards the end of her life. Like she was, you know what I mean? And that's what I want. I want that, you know, that kind of grumpy. The grumpiness is gone. Kind of the new one is like, they've managed to tame that ashtray accord. That Shipra is here now. Very, very, very friendly. Very, very friendly. Okay, so this one is like very friend, and I'm talking very friendly. This one is not that friendly. This one is cold, calculated. You know what I mean? And moody. In the best of ways. This is the character I want to watch in a telenovela. This is the character that they hire to pep up an episode from time to time, just to lighten the mood. This is a guest character. This is the main character. That's how I would describe, of a show, of a TV show. You know what I mean? This is the main character. This is a guest appearance. Oh, the poverty. Why? And they upped the price too. And it's like, it costs more now. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God. Listen, Chanel, I really hope that by tweaking it the way you did, that it's going to sell more for you. Because I know this one was not a bestseller. I hope you're going to sell more now. I hope you're going to, I don't know. I hope this reformulation has prolonged its life in terms of sellability. But at the same time, a very important chapter of Chanel history is kind of lost. Kind of lost. Like there's hints of it here. There's echoes of it. It's still there. Cristalle is still in here somewhere, lurking in the shadows. It's hiding. It's like Cristalle is hiding behind all of these newly painted walls that are made to look like a brand new Chanel boutique of today. But you know, I'm not a fan of today's Chanel boutiques. They're too light. They're too, in appearance, easy and inviting, when in reality, most of your sales associates, Chanel, are terrible. Just my honest opinion. But when Coco was alive, the boutiques were dark. They were gothic. They were Byzantine, black walls, gold accents and details. Everything was more vampire-esque. That's what this is. This is like la-di-da, you know? Yeah, Jesus, the non-binarization of Cristalle. And Gloria says it's Cristalle's granddaughter. It's very user-friendly. So you guys, for those of you who have ordered it, blindly because you've watched my other videos, you're not going to be disappointed because it's a friendly perfume. It's not a bad perfume. It's a friendly reformulation. But I would go very, very, if I were a Chanel sales associate, I would be very careful. I could not have the heart to tell my clients, oh yeah, it's the same formula. It's the same. Like making the customer sound like an idiot. You know what I'm talking about when you know your perfume and you've been buying your perfume for decades. And then you go back to Chanel and they just hired some new lemming who has no clue what they're talking about. And then they're going to want to educate you about the perfume that you've been wearing for decades. This is the thing that irks me the most. The fact that they sometimes have an attitude and no matter how much money you spend, they still give you no freebie. Also really shitty of you, Chanel, but that's a whole other can of worms. But even worse than that is when you have been purchasing the perfume you love for decades. And then you go back to repurchase the bottle after 30 years again, and it's new, and you smell it and you go, this smells different. And then they want to lecture you on how, no, that's impossible. It's still the same perfume. That's where I draw the line. I get really angry. Has it ever happened to you? Let me know in the comment section down below because I might revisit after a couple of weeks or months have passed and this has kind of settled in and has become a little bit more, you know what I mean? But like I said, batch code 8801. So this one has been produced over a year ago. It had enough time to sit around in their storage stock units. You know what I mean? This isn't batch code 00 something, like 2023 batch code. So just saying, bear that in mind as well. And for all of you who've been saying that Cristalle in this iteration, the old school iteration, like has almost no lasting power. Well, now that some time has passed and I've been talking to you while I was waiting for this to simmer down a little bit, we've done our 5 spritzes of each. I can tell you that the new one, very light, while the OG one, on my skin at least, is still going strong and beautifully sophisticated. Yes, it's very light. It's not that strong powerhouse from the 70s anymore. It hasn't been for a while now. But there's that ashy accord that really mingles well with my skin and it lingers. So it's still there. While this one, a little bit acidy, creamy, but more tamed than the OG, just less sophisticated. There you go. So obviously I cannot sit here and tell you longevity, 8 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours, because it's the first time ever that I'm wearing this. So I'm not going to touch base on full-blown longevity and tell you in this video, this is how many hours it's going to last on your skin. But I will tell you this, I have a sneaky suspicion we're not going to go over 2 or 3 hours with this, and you're going to have to reapply. Just a sneaky suspicion. We go over 4 hours with this one with me personally, but I know that some people complained about longevity on this one. And it's not bitter anymore. This one doesn't have that bitterness. Dare I say it's a smidge more synthetic too? Ooh. It's interesting. You know what though? The way that this smells now, it's almost giving me hints of I am entering the Les Exclusives territory. The way this one is being reformulated. That's what this is. Now I'm getting it. Yeah. Okay. Now I see what's happening. So this is giving me, we're shifting towards Les Exclusives territory. Type of tweaking the formula. It's becoming Olivier Polge-esque. That's what is going on here. He's appropriating this perfume. He's tweaking and making it his own. Okay, so if I look at this from that perspective, Olivier Polge, who is the current perfumer, head perfumer at Chanel, yeah, that's it. You know, he loves his citruses. It's Olivier. But it's received the Olivier Polge treatment. That's what it is, you guys. Literally, that's what it is. Yeah. It's become Olivier Polge-esque. Before it wasn't at all. This is Henri Robert. Tweaked by Jacques Polge, Olivier's dad, but this, listen, the Eau de Parfum is Jacques Polge, released in the 90s. The Eau de Toilette was released in the 70s by Henri Robert, so the Eau de Toilette is the OG. But it's become more Olivier Polge. It's warmer. That Olivier loves to do that. Do you guys remember in 2016 when Chanel discontinued the Les Exclusives Eau de Toilettes? And Olivier Polge took over. That was the time when Jacques Polge was retiring and nepotism at its finest. His son took over. Olivier took over when Jacques left Chanel. And then in 2016, Chanel re-released all of the Les Exclusives, but in Eau de Parfum form. And Olivier Polge was at the helm of that concentration shift, also formula shift. And in fact, the beauty of most of the Les Exclusives Eau de Toilettes, which laid within a cold heart, not all of them were cold, but even Coromandel and 31 Rue Cambon, 31 Rue Cambon and this modern Chypre, for example, it was cold, but also warm in a way. Coromandel as well, a very fascinating way of delivering cold within warmth in the Eau de Toilette concentrations, with Sheldrake also being the mastermind, working with Jacques, if you know, you know. But when Olivier took over and turned them into Eau de Parfums, everything changed. The first batches of the Eau de Parfums were, in my humble opinion, terrible. In fact, they started tweaking them throughout the years, and since 2016 to today, they have changed a few of these. Sycamore, for example, now, in 2023, the Eau de Parfum Sycamore is now again closer to what the last iteration of the Eau de Toilette used to be, and it doesn't smell at all like the first edition of Sycamore 2016 Eau de Parfum, for example. But Olivier has this tendency of warming up perfumes. He delivers a warmth to every fragrance that he creates with Chanel, right? Interesting, for example, comparatively speaking, if you were to see Deauville, Paris Deauville, Olivier Polge, that type of warmth that you get in what was supposed to be an eau de cologne, but then they decided to release it as an eau de toilette, to, in my opinion, to charge more. This is now closer to Deauville. Between Deauville and Paris Venice, no sandalwood in here, obviously, but that type of warmth you get in Paris Venice, and that type of, I know it's all about the basil in Deauville, but that type of, because even Deauville has a certain warmth in the dry down, signature of Olivier Polge. That's what we got here. This is Olivier Polge. This is Olivier Polge's Cristalle. That's it. And now that it has clicked in my head and I understand what has been done here, now I can appreciate it. You see, now I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a really cool Olivier Polge perfume. It is. More flat, warm. Jesus says he likes to take away austerity from perfumes and make them more domesticated. He doesn't like mystery. Nepo baby. He has lived protected all his life. He doesn't know what a mystery is. He didn't have to struggle, probably. This is the way I see it. He was raised in a perfume family. Daddy was super successful. Olivier started working at a super young age already, doing perfumes for Dior and what have you. So how can a person that has been living in a coveted environment even know mystery? You know what I mean? So there's a very beautiful aspect to Olivier's perfumes, which is this coming from money, this comfort, this sort of noblesse that he delivers in his fragrances. We can debate whether or not that's a bad thing in perfumes, but I personally like the comforting aspect of his perfumes because they smell rich. They smell like everything's going to be okay. You got your, family wealth, generational wealth. No economical crisis is going to touch you. No political crisis is going to touch you. He delivers that in perfume form. He delivers that sense of security, which is boring in a way, right? But sometimes I like that sense of security that his perfumes deliver. And if you smell Cristalle, the new Cristalle, with that in mind, it all makes sense. All of a sudden, all the puzzle pieces fall into place, and Cristalle becomes, yeah, Jesus, there is beauty, comfort, and societal norm to his creations, very traditional. Yes, it's a very, very conservative, expensive smelling Chanel perfume now. It used to be edgy. It used to be edgy. It used to be edgy. It used to be that orphan woman who came from nothing and built an empire type of smell, to now it smells like rich lady going to buy an expensive perfume in the store to feel her oats. That's the difference. It's still beautiful for what it delivers, but it delivers a different story. We're writing a new chapter in this book of Chanel perfumes, aren't we? And I'm fine with writing a new chapter, but you see, I'm not fine with writing a new chapter at the expense of an already written and beautifully written chapter. I'm all for Olivier Polge doing his version of Cristalle, just like his dad, Jacques, did too, right? He did the Eau de Parfum, but he also did Eau Verte. So I'm all for Olivier Polge delivering a second flanker for Cristalle. You know what I mean? But don't mess with the story that's already been written. I have an issue with that because now this story is gone because we're only going to have this from now on. It's a beautiful perfume. I love it also in this version, and I'm going to wear it a lot because it's very wearable. Very, very Nepo baby, nouveau riche. Well, no, not nouveau riche because it's generational wealth, not nouveau riche. Not at all. I correct myself. This is Nepo baby riche. Nepo baby riche, from rags to riches riche story. There you have it, guys. Would I recommend it? I would still tell you, if you want the original story, hunt down the original bottle of this for the new chapter. Yes, I'm all for this new chapter, but I'm not in favor of deleting this chapter. So, of course, I will be buying because I still like this. but it's not the OG. Let me know your thoughts down below. You know, comments. Have you tried the new one compared to the old one? How does it compare for you, to your nose? Does it smell exactly the same to you? In which instances have you tested it? Have you worn it out? School, office, privately, night, morning, afternoon, summer, winter, spring, fall? You know what I mean? All of these kind of, what mood? Are you in a good mood, in a bad mood when you were wearing it? All of these elements also factor into how a perfume ends up smelling on your skin. So bear that in mind and let me know. Let me know your thoughts and prayers down below. And until next time, and never forget to never give up on love. One more point to say is that the print here is different. It was a flat silver print before. It's not like elevated. But this new one, it kind of sticks upwards. You know, it's kind of like a print with thickness to it. So that's kind of, yeah, here as well. That's also the difference in the manufacturing of the bottles. Thank you so much. Thumb up this video if you've enjoyed it. At this point, I'm not so sure how quickly I am going to be jumping on purchasing the new Eau de Parfum and the new Eau Verte. Because, you know, let me play with this one a little bit before we get to the other ones, because I have to digest, I have to process all of this new information first. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you loads. Thumb up the video, subscribe, and until next time, never forget to never give up on the original storyline of perfumes. Love you loads. Bye. Mwah.